Good afternoon. I'm Taylor Combeluzier, a mining analyst at Red Cloud Securities. We welcome John Bay, President and CEO of Standard Uranium. Standard is an early-stage uranium explorer that is focused on the southwest and northwest Athabasca Basin. Drilling success this winter has urged the company to quadruple its drill program to 10,000 meters. I'll now turn it over to John, who has 15 minutes to present, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So John, take it away.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you to Red Cloud for hosting this amazing day of uranium exploration companies. I probably am going to say thank you to all those of you who have tuned in to watch. I know there's been many presentations and you're probably a little exhausted, so I look forward to sharing our story. So 15 minutes, I'm going to give you a quick summary, down and dirty, on specifically our company, not so much the macro story, so I'm going to fly through some of the macro slides. We are strong believers that this is going to be the start of a great uranium bull market, with nuclear energy and uranium both having very successful for the next several years. Our tagline is, we find the fuel for a clean energy future. So let me take you through our presentation, starting off with our disclaimer. I'm going to be making some forward-looking statements as we talk about what's planned for the next 12 months, including our drill program starting in a few weeks. So this is a snapshot of the Athabasca Basin, which is northern part of Saskatchewan and the greatest place in the world to find high-grade uranium. We are going to drive shareholder value by focusing on making a high-grade basement-hosted uranium discovery, and everything we're doing is driving us towards that right now. I'm going to talk to you about four main themes today. Number one is our people. Number one is our project. Number two is our project. Number three is the project area we operate in. And the fourth thing is timing, macro and micro. So for those of you that are new to this story, we started this company about 3 years ago, but took the company public actually 12 months ago, just had our 1-year anniversary. We listed on May 4th. We've now been trading for over a year, and we'll talk a bit about that when we get to the capital markets slide. Our flagship project is the Davidson River project. You can see it on that map on the right. We are just to the west of Fission's RRR and NextGen's Arrow project, and we'll be talking about the importance of that. We built our team based on the Davidson River project. That is, we've assembled a group of geologists and capital markets people who've been in this space and made discoveries in this region. And we'll talk to you about that when we get to our team slide. We strongly believe in the nuclear power renaissance, and there's lots of things to get to on that slide. And of course, short-term catalysts include our Davidson River drill program starting in about 3 weeks' time, followed by our Sundog exploration program and drill program starting in the winter of Q1 of 2022. So when I mentioned our team, this slide here gives you a snapshot of most of our team. The top 5 are the directors, myself, and our 2 geologists, Neil McCallum and Garrett Ainsworth, who are both on our technical team. And then we have 2 corporate directors who are both securities M&A lawyers, Blair Jordan and Ken Judge. Ken is based in Europe, and he's a specialist in M&A security transactions. So we'll speak about that in later times. On the bottom side, we have Galen McNamara, who's part of our technical team, and I'll speak to him on the next slide. Lori Thomas is our VP of Investor Relations, very strongly focused in uranium for the past 12 years, both with Cameco and UEX. And then we have Martin Bajic, our CFO, who's a very capable CFO, has worked in the TSX and CSE for many years. And Sean Hilliker is our project geologist. So the next slide takes you through our technical team. And these are the guys that we've put together specifically to make a discovery in this region. So starting with Neil McCallum, who is our VP of Exploration. He's been working in this region for 15 plus years as a consultant with DeRouge for many junior exploration companies. He's seen all the rocks across the entire basin as an extremely talented and capable geologist. Next to him is Garrett Ainsworth. Garrett is the geologist who's most notably known for his work with NextGen, but prior to that, he was a geologist that made the radioactive boulder discovery, which led to the RRR project with Fission. Garrett left Fission and went and joined NextGen and was a VP of exploration for many years and helped advance that Arrow project to where it is today. Garrett left NextGen and joined our company the next day about 2 years ago. To the right of Garrett is Galen McNamara. Galen is a geologist as well, currently the CEO of Suma Silver, but he worked hand in hand with Garrett at NextGen on the Arrow project, so he's very familiar with all the rocks we're looking at in this region. And of course, Sean Hilliker, our project geologist. Sean worked with Galen and Garrett at NextGen. Sean spent the last 5 years doing his master's degree on the Arrow project, and he knows these rocks better than anyone in this region, and Sean is now leading our Davidson River drill program. So a very capable team built to make a discovery in this region. This is a map of our southwest corner of the Athabasca Basin, and you can see all the different companies operating in this region. So when we talk about our company, we don't just talk about that we're a Canadian company exploring on the Athabasca Basin, and we're not just a company exploring in the southwest corner, and it's not just an area play. Our theory is that we actually sit on the same conductor, and that's the Patterson Lake conductor that runs from the east to the west and runs right to our project. That same conductor hosts the Spitfire zone of Pure Points, Arrows deposit from NextGen, and Triple R project with Fission. So we believe we're on the same conductor, which is crucial when you're looking for that high-grade uranium discovery. I want to say you can see the number of holes that have been drilled by the previous companies on the same conductor. Our company started our first drill program last year, and we put 20 drill holes into the project. And we'll talk a bit more about that and where we're headed next. So once again, we talk about not just the project itself. You want to be in an area that's very prolific for uranium discoveries, and there's nowhere better in the world than the Athabasca Basin. So this slide really points out a few key things. Number one, the grade. The grade of uranium discoveries in this region is second to none globally, exponentially greater. We also have an incredible skilled workforce in this area. We've got mining-friendly policies. We've got great relationships with First Nations partners. There's rich mineral resources across the whole Athabasca Basin, and we're hunting for those specifically in the southwest corner with their Davidson River project. If you look at the macro story, I'm going to go quickly through this as we don't have a lot of time, but a lot of things have happened recently, including the Sprott takeover of UPC, which is going to come to fruition over the next few months. Japanese have announced restarts. The US have announced extension of their reactors and tax credits to hopefully keep new reactors open longer. We're looking at the US government on both sides supporting nuclear energy. ESG investment is becoming popular for nuclear around the globe, which is driving more funds into the uranium space right now. We've seen $500 million pour into the uranium equities over the last few months, a lot of it into ETFs. And we're seeing that, we're even seeing Canadian exploration companies buying uranium from the spot market, which I've never seen in my entire career. So that's remarkable. Future looks very bright for uranium and for nuclear energy. Now, more specifically, micro-wise, why is the timing important for us? If you look at this Lassonde curve, you can see where we are in this map. We are pre-discovery. So what that means is you have the chance to invest with us prior to us making that large discovery. If we make that discovery, forward-looking statement, of course. Previous companies who've made discoveries and had exponential growth include Fission, NextGen, ISO recently. All those companies had 10x or 20x's depending on when you invested in those companies. So for us, excellent opportunity to invest with us if you believe we're on the track to making that next big discovery. So here's a picture of the Clearwater domain and our mirror theory of why that's important to our company. So the Clearwater domain, the picture on the left there, is the source for the heat and the fluids and the uranium that came up and deposited on the eastern side, falling into those graphitic and sulfidic conductors, which actually host those three other deposits. Our theory was those same fluids could be deposited on the western side on the conductors on our project. So we spent the last few years doing the geophysics work to prove that out. So the first thing we did was V10 and Z10 back in 2018 and 2019, identified these 4 major conductors, but 26 conductors running in our Davidson River project. On this slide, you can see our Saint, Warrior, Bronco, and Thunderbird trends. Those are all major conductors and ones we'll be drilling this summer. You don't just want to have conductors on your project, though, you want to have much more than that. So studying what was found at Triple R and Arrow, we noticed that where there were deposits, they found things like cross-cutting structures, offsets and breaks, zones where there's changes in dip direction, and also electromagnetic bright spots. These are all important because the uranium can just travel along those fluid highways, the conductors, and if there's nothing to offset or break or cross-cutting structures, they'll just keep flowing through. So when you find those offsets and breaks and cross-cutting things, there's an opportunity for those fluids to drop out and make a deposit. So that's where we're targeting our drill programs. So let's get into those. And excuse my speed, I'm going through really quickly here. This is our phase 1 drill program we did last summer. We did 5,600 meters and 13 drill holes. You can see on the map those black dots. That's where we put our first drill holes into. We were targeting, first of all, to prove out the theory of the Clearwater domain mirror theory, that we were actually on the Patterson Lake conductor. And we've done that. We've now been able to look through the core and identify the same rock formations in the same order and same structure type with the same zones of alteration, stacked shear zones, similar to what they were finding on the eastern side of the basin. So our geologists are very confident we are on the Patterson Lake conductor. So we took this data and put it right into our winter program, which we just completed in March. So we did another 7 holes, 3,000 meters. We're getting much better occurrences of stacked shear zones. The graphitic and sulfuric zones are much thicker. We're seeing great alteration, and we're using that data, which we're hoping to get the assay results back in the next 2 to 3 weeks to sort of help plant plot out our next drill program this summer. Now, the first 4 or 5 holes are going to be in our Saint target, and those are already planned. So we are going to be able to start our drill program ahead of schedule. We did originally plan to start at the end of June. Now we're going to start at the end of May, which is really exciting for our geologists and team to get up there in the immediate future. So looking at this slide, you can see some of the pictures that were taken of the core that came out this winter. And you can see both core from the Warrior corridor and the Saint corridor. Things that we're liking, what we saw in this was we were getting deep structure and an alteration on both our Skyline and Meadow target areas. We're having stronger concentrations of graphite. We're getting stacked shear zones. These are all very important components of what was found over at the Arrow deposit. We're also now getting into strong alteration and structure at the top of the basement, and the rocks where they're all broken apart. That's exactly what you want to see, broken apart rocks where uranium can drop out. So we're really excited about this, and based on this core, we decided to expand our summer program to 10,000 meters. Previously, it was 2,500 meters. So what do we have planned for the summer? Well, we're going to be targeting all 4 of these major trends. We're going to start with the Saint trend, doing 5 or 6 holes over there. We're going to get the assay results back and use that to plot out another 7 or 8 holes at least on the Warrior trend. Then we're going to go over to Bronco and Thunderbird, which have never been drilled, and we're going to do fence drilling, probably 3 or 4 holes at least on each of those conductors. So these are massive conductors. If you look at the length of those on the scale, they're 9 to 12 kilometers long each. So for us to put a drill hole in, which is the size of a couple inches, it's pretty incredible that we're able to use that data to hone in on where these discoveries could be. So we're really excited to get moving here. We've locked up all our vendors, helicopters, camps, permitting, First Nations, great drill trains. It's all come together, and we're starting ahead of schedule, on budget, on time, and we're really excited to get going and to share that data with you as investors. So now this is all set up, we're all set to also start working on our Sundog project starting this winter. So we're going to be going back up to the Sundog region this summer, doing a bit more geological sort of sampling, and we're going to be prepared for drilling this February, March of 2022. We've got our permits in place. We're working with the Yatanini group right now to work on our consent, and we anticipate having everything set up for the winter. So we're really excited about that. Now, what we did last summer, we went up to this region and identified these 3 zones, the Java Haven area, and we're also going to be doing, I'll show you this slide here with some of the pictures. So here's some rock samples and pictures taken from our summer program. We identified uranium in concentrations of 3.5%, which is remarkable. And this was on surface. So what we're trying to do is find a basement hosted discovery here. We want to go down several hundred meters. So that's what the drill program is going to be targeting. Not the typical programs that were done in the past, like low grade at surface. We want to go deep and find a basement hosted deep discovery in the Sundog region. And on top of Sundog, we also have our Eastern Basin projects. We have 3 projects, the Ascent, Canary, and Atlantic. And those projects haven't been drilled yet by us. So we're gearing those up to be permitted and with consent from the First Nations, and potentially working on those next summer or into the winter of 2023. So lots of projects for us to be working on, but I do want to stress that we are focused primarily on our Davidson River project, with 90% of our time and our funds going to drill that program. So let's walk over to our corporate page. You can see that we're listed on the TSX Venture as of last May. STND is our symbol there. STTDF on the OTC market, and we're also listed in Frankfurt. Our market cap is roughly around between 20 and 24 million, depending on the day. It's been a rough couple of days for this industry. We've got $3 million still in the bank, and we're heading into this drill program. So we're really excited about what the future holds for this company. And we've got great liquidity, trading between 300,000 to 500,000 shares a day. And our share price, we opened at 15 cents when we went public last year, and we're now trading roughly around 20 cents. So the future is looking bright for this summer drill program. And one thing to draw your attention to is our strategic shareholders. Several of those people will be speaking today. So Mike Alkin and Sachem Cove joined us in 2018 financing when we were still private, and they invested privately with us for 2 years before us going public. So we're really proud to have Mike and Sachem Cove as early believers in our company and our projects. And then just prior to going public, we brought in Marcelo Lopez, who's speaking today from L2 Capital, and Guy Keller from Tribeca Investment Partners came in as well. And then Azarias Capital joined us last year in our last capital raise. I didn't mention that part of going public last year, we did 2 capital raises, both led by Red Cloud. The first one was 4.5 million at 20 cents with a 30-cent warrant. And then the second one was on those same terms, 20 cent with a 30-cent warrant, and that was done in October, and we raised 3.4 million. So we spent about 5.5 million last year on the drill programs, and now we've got about $3 million going into this summer. So really excited to get those drills turning again and get some exciting results back to you as shareholders. I'll take you to our summary slide. So why invest in Standard Uranium? Well, number one, we built this team around guys that have made discoveries in the specific regions, in the rocks we're looking at, and we want to do it again. The rising demand for uranium and nuclear is spectacular. I haven't seen a macro story this promising ever in my career. And now we're looking at we're in a renowned location. That is the Athabasca Basin, the best place in the world to be searching for high-grade uranium. We've got 5 projects, the Davidson River being our flagship, and they're all remarkable. So we can't wait to continue to explore those and bring you results. And once again, we are pre-discovery. So the chance to invest with us pre-discovery, prior to that share price having huge appreciation with the discovery, is your chance to invest right now. So I'm going to pass this back over to our host to take any questions, and we will go from there. Sorry, I went so fast through this. Welcome your questions.
Yeah, no problem, John. That was a great presentation. So just a reminder to everybody watching that you can submit your questions using the Q&A button in the webinar platform. We do have a number that have come in already. First off, what information are you hoping to attain from each conductor?
Well, what we're trying to do is make a high-grade discovery in this region, and it could be in any one of those conductors. So we are looking to put the drills in the ground and find out the high concentrations of the graphitic shear zones, and also we want to have stacked shear zones, and we want to get right into the uranium, make a uranium discovery, and that would be the most exciting thing. And we could find that in any one of our conductors. Right,
and I guess kind of building on that. I guess the combination of the conductive trends with the geophysical data you have, the importance of structures, as well as the overlapping alteration are all coming into play. What specific types of alteration are you kind of looking for?
Well, we'll get into this first of all in more detail when we have our one-on-one calls with our geologists, because it's pretty complicated stuff. But I'm going to tell you that, when we look for these conductors, first thing we're trying to do is get into those zones where there's high concentrations of graphite and sulfide, because that's where the uranium will be deposited. If you're going to find uranium in this region, it's going to be in those conductors where there's graphite and sulfide. That's where the uranium is deposited at.
Great. Okay. And then another question, just wondering, are there still assays from 2020 that are outstanding?
So not 2020, but the 2021 drill program we did in February and March, those assays are due back any day now. So we were told mid to late May. So watch for those to be published once we have them.
Great. Okay, and a couple other questions, just wondering about the $3 million cash balance. Is that enough funding to kind of get you through all the work that you have outlined for this year?
Good question. So $3 million will probably be enough to complete this drill program, but that will leave the bank account pretty empty. So we will be raising capital sometime in the near future when we think the terms are right and the pricing is right. We still believe we're very undervalued with where we are right now. So we're anticipating the next few weeks or months could be very monumental for the uranium space and our company. So watch for that.
Great. So lots of catalysts coming up. Another question, is your one hole at the Saint Trend providing the most promising results of your holes so far?
No, but it is extremely exciting. The one hole, we haven't got the assay results back yet, but what we have seen is core that was pretty exciting to our geologists. Now, the Saint Trend is the most comparable to the Arrow deposit based on geophysics. So that was really exciting to our geologists, and we really want to start following up on that trend with our first few drill holes. The core that came out was really exciting as well. We went through multiple stack shear zones, and we had alteration and broken up rocks right at the start of the basement. So those are all really promising, and our geologists are, really excited to get drilling in that region first.
Great. So we're down to about under a minute now. Maybe John, you can just finish off with any final pitch to investors, maybe key things to look forward to coming up.
Sure. So as we've been talking about for this presentation, our drill program coming up in Davidson River is extremely exciting. We will be on site. I'm headed there actually in a few weeks to be on the ground, making videos showing what's going on, introducing the investors to some of our new team members and the new drill company we're working with. That's going to be a remarkable next 4 months. We're going to be drilling the entire time from June, July, August, September. There's going to be a ton of information coming out. So I do encourage investors not only to follow us with conferences like this, but also follow us on Twitter, be on social media, watch our videos videos on YouTube. We put out a ton of content, and we're very reactive and social and speaking to investors. Anytime you want to reach out to us, set up a call, send me a note, and we'll give you the information you need and grow those relationships. It's great to welcome so many new shareholders recently. We've had a lot of great meetings in the last few weeks, and we anticipate it's going to be a remarkable next 12 months for Standard Uranium. So come on for the ride.
Perfect. And with that, we are out of time. So thank you very much, John, for presenting Standard Uranium to us.
Thank you very much. Thanks to Red Cloud, and a wonderful session today. Cheers, everyone.